So a couple months ago, I talked briefly about this company called Rentcheck, and Rentcheck is a website and an app that is uh, for both the investor and the resident, and it is an inspection software. So it's an app. You're not able to upload photos to it. You have to actually access your camera through the app and then take photos of the property. So, from the property owner perspective, what this software or inspection software allows you to do is it allows you to identify the areas that are of your concern. Like, let's say you want to make sure that that furnace filter is changed out on a monthly basis, then you can ask this rent check software to send a message to the resident on a monthly basis asking them to upload a photo of that new furnace filter with like the date written on it, right? So that's beneficial. You can get this as custom as you would like. If you want to do monthly, quarterly, semi-annual, or annual inspections of your property, you're able to set this up. You're able to select all of the items that you want photoed so that you can just get a better understanding of the condition of your property. So I think this is especially important because there are multiple times where someone has moved out, albeit in the middle of the night or at the end of their lease term, and the property will be in disrepair. There will have been like a dog in the basement just pooping the entire time. And, we think to ourselves, had we known that this was going on, we would have somehow intervened and fixed this solution because our goal is not to have our property destroyed. Our goal is to have these properties without deferred maintenance in really good condition so that we can hold them as assets for the next 50, 60, 70 years, whatever, and pass them on down to the future generations of our family. So we have no interest in having any deferred maintenance present on any of our properties. And as we are putting residents inside these properties, it's our goal to provide above average housing at an average price and also, provide above average service to any of the things that residents may need. And because that is, our main intention, we also want to partner with people that are interested in really taking care of the properties. And if they are not interested in taking care of these properties, then it's really difficult for us to find out if they're not the type of person to file a lot of work orders. We generally, historically, we have only found out if a property is being mistreated if we have a work order put in place and someone goes out there, is horrified by the condition, or sees something they don't like, or know that we wouldn't like, and then they tell us about it. But that is a lot of relying on other people and a lot of sitting back and waiting, especially if they're not ones to file work orders often. So, rent check is invaluable in that sense. And from the resident perspective, one of the most common complaints is having your security deposit improperly withheld or disagreeing with something and not necessarily having the proof that that is the condition, in fact, that the property was in when you moved in. So, rent check from the resident facing side is all about protecting the security deposit and making sure that you aren't held liable for things that you're responsible for, which is, a big deal. And that is, a worthwhile software as well. So, we have now implemented this. We are, I would say, probably about 6 to 8 months in from starting to integrate the software. And initially, our goal is to, on a semi annual basis, do a rent check for all of our properties. So, do this inspection. We are not using it on a monthly basis to check for these furnace filters. We just want to, 6 months in, touch base and figure this out. So, rent check, the fun story, the whole reason that I set this up is personally, one of my favorite homes in the portfolio. And the people that know me well know that that is nonsense when I say it, because if you really pin me down, then pretty much every single one of our houses in our portfolio are one of my favorite. But truly, I think this is one of my favorites. So I'm going to describe it in detail. It is a beautiful brick home. It's been painted, but it's brick. It was built in 1885 and it is solid. It has the original pocket doors inside. It has all the original wood trim. And I had three of my children in this home on the second floor. And again, 1885, it's solid. All the corners are still square, all the floors are still level. And I had my kids on the second floor, and they were jumping up and down. I was in the next room, could not feel it, could not really even hear it. I mean, it is a solid tank of a home. It's a really large one as well. It's a little over 2,000 square feet. And, we didn't really spare any expenses when we were renovating this thing. So, a lot of these older homes have absurdly large windows that are a little bit too close to the floor. And because of that, the code is that these windows be tempered glass instead of just normal glass. So, we did not frame them in. We made all the windows the original shape. Pretty proud of that. And we moved someone in, and they are not treating this house well at all. So inside the first couple of months, we start getting complaints from any of the vendors that have to go over there for anything. So then they came up on the rent check, and the rent check and all the pictures that needed to be taken show that this property is being extraordinarily mistreated. We have found a lot of pets that we didn't know about, so we were able to go back and charge the pet fee. One of the things that we write in all of our leases is that if we find out about the pet during the stay and we're not properly notified, then from the start of the lease date, you're going to be charged the initial, non-refundable pet deposit, and then also back charged the pet fee for each applicable pet for each month that you have already had that lease. So there's a lot of animal feces all over this house. There's a lot of trash that's being kept on the inside of this house for some reason, just like normal, soda cans, food trash, all of that stuff. So we are now working through putting a plan together, allowing them the opportunity to get everything cleaned up, and then re-inspecting the property. And if we are re-inspecting the property and it's still the same issues, then we will get the property professionally cleaned and then assess those damages and charges back to them. However, all this to say that because Rentcheck is in place, we have potentially just saved thousands of dollars, because if someone is living like this in the first couple of months of this lease, one could imagine that if this had gone on for 12 months, 18 months, 24 months, however long these people live, then the damage would just become significantly more detrimental to the property. So now Rentcheck, a software that everyone should use. This is not any sort of affiliate or any sort of thing that I'm going to benefit from, but it is an extraordinarily affordable platform that we have already benefited from greatly, if not just from this one house. However, I can also imagine that the more we get into this, the more properties that we're going to be able to save in a manner, because application process, background screening, all of that is good, and you're able to kind of glean a lot of information about someone, but living habits without a previous owner outright saying that they don't live in the best of conditions. There's no way to know. There's nothing that could possibly point to that when you meet someone. So that is one of the biggest risks when you're placing people into these homes that you have just spent a great amount of dollars rehabbing and are pretty proud of. Is the biggest exposure there is, will these people tear it up? Rentcheck has really helped us in that regard, and we are super pumped that we caught this and we are now able to take action. One of the ways that we have also found Rentcheck appropriate is there are some people, and we've had people, plenty of people tell us that they've only lived in apartments. This is their first house. They don't necessarily know how to live in the house. We have a lot of people we have found that are somehow bashful about filing work orders. Like if a faucet is barely leaking, they would rather just kind of let it leak. They don't want it to be a big deal. They don't want to be a bother to someone. But that is, something we want to know about and we care about. So we have been able to proactively file a lot of work orders on properties. And we have also found a significant number of pets that were unauthorized or otherwise should not have been there. So the amount of people that we house that are so gracious enough to keep other people's pets for them are pretty astounding. Thanks for listening to my rant about Rentcheck. Thanks for watching that clip. I thought that was a good question. And I think you can ask good questions too. Join us every Friday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for a live stream Q&A where we answer plenty of questions just like this one. In the meantime, consider subscribing to the channel if you want more of this content. And if you want to increase your deal flow, analyze properties better, and help me feed my family, click the link below for a free 7-day trial of PropStream.